What is testamentary capacity? The required capacity in order to make a valid will or to sign or execute any sort of estate document. Compared to other standards for signing any sort of other agreement or any other sort of a contract, testamentary capacity is comparatively very low of a standard. There still has to be some standards. You can't just be grabbing someone's hand while they're in a coma and like penning stuff for them. Like there's some standards. Like it's very, very minimal, but there's got to be some kind of rule of law in any sort of an estate plan. You need to be able to understand what are your assets that belong to you and that you even have a say over and that you even need to be delegating in any sort of way. I mean, this would include your bank accounts, any houses, types of joint property, even your retirement accounts. These are all considered assets that you would have to be able to, you have to understand what your assets are, what you even own, what they are, where they are, and what their value is, and you have to be able to comprehend the actual meaning of what that value is. Like if you think that $100,000 is nothing, then you're not in your right state of mind. You know what I mean? Just as a lazy example. And you have to be able to understand who your natural heirs are. So if you were to die intestate, which means that you were to die without making an estate plan or any sort of estate documents, that would mean that you would be considered to have died intestate. It just means you don't have a will. So you have to be able to understand what your heirs would be in that situation if you had died without a will. Which, for most people, that's their children, sometimes a spouse. You have to also be able to understand the difference of every decision that you're making as far as estate planning goes for that estate planning to be valid. Understand your assets, their worth, their value, what they are, where they are, who they're going to go to if you don't make this estate plan, who they're going to go to if you do make this estate plan as you're making it. And you have to be able to understand all of that information, juggle it all in your head at the same time. You need to have the ability to weigh all that information at once so that you can process the pros and cons of each decision and make an actual informed decision. That is required